can't stop. A family shop. Think Thayer. Come on, let's get rolling. Come on, let's get moving. Think Thayer.
Hello, welcome to Falcon Weekly here on BGSUFalcons.com. I'm Evan Pivnik, joined by the head coach of the Bowling Green Falcons, Chris Bergeron. Coach, first of all, thanks for joining me. Always appreciate the time. I know you're a busy man. And
thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Now, looking at last weekend, a split against the Alaska Nanooks, a loss Friday night, but the team was able to respond Saturday night. Not a lot of goal scoring, but the team was able to get the result.
Yeah, ultimately, I think that's what happened. I mean, Friday we just didn't score enough. You know, we weren't the sharpest that we've been. We were 5 of 12 in our objectives, which we're leaving it to chance at 5 of 12. But the bottom line, the main thing that jumps out at us is we had plenty of grade A opportunities and/or chances to create more than one goal. I think that full credit to Alaska, they did what we expected them to do. They took advantage of opportunities. Any turnovers or whatever we gave them, they took advantage of. Really, one puck. The third goal was a goal that it was kind of an odd bounce off the back wall, and it was a puck that I'd like to see Chris have, but from the bounce perspective. But I was happy for the most part with our goaltending, and I thought we could have been a bit better checking wise, defending. But ultimately, you're not going to win games scoring one goal. I'm just not. And then Saturday, I thought we responded. And unfortunately, we'd been in that position before. Where the response started was the beginning of the second period. Unfortunately, the first period, it took us 10 minutes to get our first shot on goal. And if it wasn't for Chris Nell, it's probably a deficit heading into the second period, but he had a strong first. And then after that, I thought we took it over pretty good. That we gave up a total of 8 shots through second, third, and overtime. I thought we created a bunch, which is nice. And we were able to score a couple goals. So what I look at the weekend is we need to be more opportunistic around the other team's net for sure. Happy with the special teams, happy with the goaltending. I thought we defended much better Saturday. So some positives, some good things to take away.
Now, how nice was it to see Brett DeAndrea score that overtime goal, just that whole play in general and the season that he's had?
Well, ultimately, it's always nice to see a puck go in overtime. We felt like it found a way to work itself out based on the way the second and third went, and I find that that's the way things end up happening is if you deserve it and earned it and have battled hard to get it, you'll get it. And I thought that's what ended up happening. The play itself was a good face-off win. That's where it starts in the D zone, and then it works itself out. And we talk about stick on puck and when you engage people defensively, and that's what Brett did, and got the turnover, and then made a really nice play around their net, which was obviously, like we've been talking about, it's been hard. It was hard for us to finish over the course of the weekend. So to see that puck go in was nice. How
about Brett himself having the year he's having, finding a role on this team in his junior year?
Well, it's something that it hasn't been easy for him. We've been together trying to work through finding him a role. He's got lots of puck skills and he's got lots of hockey sense. He's one of those guys that thinks it at a pretty high level. He's found a level of consistency with his competition, which is something that we've been on him for over the course of his time here. And he's learned to play the game fast, even though he's not the fastest skater. And that's another area of his game that we've tried to, together, try to figure it out. So it's nice to see. That's what we expect from our juniors. And he's been as consistent of a performer, quite honestly, as we've had, in particular from a forward position. He's played in all 3 situations. He's a guy we know we can put out in any situation. Been our best face-off guy. Lots of good. And the story itself is a good story because he's somebody that's persevered through some adversity. And the adversity is he wasn't playing. He didn't have much of a role. And him and I have had lots of talks, and they were hard because it was never about him wanting to play. We knew he wanted to. It was just a matter of finding that role like you talked about, and it looks like he's settled in nicely to the role that he's got now.
Let's talk a little bit about special teams. 2 power play goals on the weekend for the Falcons, and then perfect on the PK. You got to like what you saw results-wise.
I do. I mean, I think it was 2 of 12, and then we were 9 of 9 on the penalty kill. Friday night, it was a tough first period for us. we give up a goal, and then we take 2 penalties in the same play, basically, with 2 minutes to go in the first period. And we thought we'd killed it off. Our guys were coming out, and we turned a puck over, ended up in our net. From a 5-on-3 perspective, we only had 3 guys in our zone. But I really liked the way we killed all weekend long. And the power play goal we scored on Saturday was the tying goal. It was a goal that got the building alive and ultimately tied the game for us. So we need to have special teams play at the level it's been right now. And winning that special teams battle each night is something that I think over the last 5 or 6 games we've been on the better side of that more nights than not. And that has to continue.
What do you think the difference has been from the beginning of the season to where the power play is to where it is now?
Power play?
Power to kill, both?
Well, power play probably zone time. I thought we found ourselves chasing our tail around a little bit, trying to. We worked on our breakout a bunch because we were chasing down pucks and breaking the puck out. But I feel like we've been in the zone way more. And once you're in the zone, that's when the hockey players take over and they do what they do, and that's why they're on the power play. Penalty kill, we just. There's been different reasons all year long. I mean, we're not blocking shots. Our clears haven't been good. We're not on the same page from a rotation, X's and O's perspective. But lately we have been. We've been pressuring when the pressure says is there. We've been more passive when the situation calls for it. With the exception of the Saturday night at Mankato, I think the results have been pretty good. They were 2 for 3 that night, and both of those pucks were. Situation. It wasn't a 5-on-4 reason the puck went in the net. So we've been happy with the penalty kill, and I just think the details on both sides of it and the process, whether it be power play or penalty kill, is the difference. We've had better details and better process on both sides of it, and then you see the results.
Now, looking ahead to this weekend, Ferris State, a team that you've seen quite a bit of in your time here at Bowling Green. It's kind of one of those weekends where the standings may go out the window a little bit when you play when those two teams go head to head. Even the stats, it's just a good heated rivalry of a weekend.
Yeah, I would agree. No, this year the standings are, there are part of it. So I think there's been times over the years where you throw the standings out because they've been strong and we haven't, or vice versa. But this year we're right there. I mean, they're just below us, and we know that they want to close the gap and we want to widen the gap. They've got a couple of games in hand on us. Now, that being said, it's Ferris versus BG, and whether it's the WCHA or CCHA, whether it's regular season, playoffs, non-conference, whatever it is, when these two teams play, it's going to be heated. It's a small rink at Ferris, so things happen quickly. So it's real conducive to a very competitive hockey game. And I think we're going to have 2 very competitive games. And they're a senior-led team, at least on paper it looks like. And anyone that knows their team knows the Mayhew and Van Wormer and Lowney and McDonald, those guys lead the way. And I think when you're led by seniors, you've got a chance to be a dangerous team. And this is a dangerous team. They defend really well. They've got good goaltending. And like I say, they're senior-driven up front with a guy like Corey Mackin, who is as skilled as anyone in the league. I mean, there's lots of ways they can beat you. But I do think they're a typical Ferris team in that they're gonna go nose to nose with anybody and compete and fight hard, and that's what we're expecting.
Well, the Falcons and Bulldogs underway this weekend from Big Rapids, Michigan. Friday night at 8:30, 7 p.m. start, a little late start again.
Yeah.
No, can't do anything about that.
No, that's
and
okay.
Saturday night normal time, 7:07 p.m. Coach, appreciate the time. Best luck this weekend.
Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.